Good morning. Welcome to Takeover Tuesdays. So, today, before I introduce my guests, I would like to tell you a little bit about what Takeover Tuesdays is. If you've never joined us before, this is a segment all about community, networking, small business owners, and just getting to know who's out there, what they do, and let them tell their story. A big portion of getting to know each other is telling a story. So we spend a lot of time during this segment sharing the person's story. And today I have a special guest who is joining us from Beverly Hills, California. Her name is Donjia Gale, but you're going to find out soon she does have Denver roots. For those of you watching locally, good morning, Donjia.
Good morning, Jessica. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Great to be here.
Your sound is a little bit low.
Okay, let me turn it up.
There you go.
All right, wonderful, and I'm great to be here. It's really great to be here.
Yes. Okay. So it's funny because, well, I'll go ahead and we'll get into our story of how we met a little bit later. I was going to share with the audience a little bit about how we met, but I'll let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background first.
Sounds good. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm so happy to be here and share part of what I'm doing. This Takeover Tuesdays is really wonderful. Jessica does a wonderful job at sharing other businesses and brands. And so what I'm here to do is talk about what I do every day, and it's part of my story. And I have a unique story. I didn't have hardship in my childhood. I grew up in a two-parent home, and a wonderful two-parent home with family and love and all of that good stuff. And I went to college, and then my whole life just changed. Like going into the workforce, being in college, being exposed to diversity. I'm going to be real about that. I grew up in Colorado Springs, Colorado, in an area that was not that diverse at all. And it served me well. It prepared me a lot for what was to come. And, my parents taught me, what to do, how to do things, how to grow, that I could be anything. So I got to college and I was smacked with real life, if you will. And then I got into the workforce and I was smacked around a little bit again. We won't go into those stories today, but I learned that through many layoffs, many times of being let go, companies going under abruptly, there were about 6 times cumulatively over my journey over the last 20 years where I was abruptly released from work. And I was not prepared. And that really, really put me in a situation. That's how I became an entrepreneur. I heard the calling, I felt it from my soul to really begin doing what I had been doing for so many other companies and organizations for myself, and going from working for other people to being of service.
Yeah, and this is why we connected, because when I first talked to you, we had that in common, the whole service, connecting, being, just there to serve others and contribute to our community. And I want you to go a little bit deeper into the different aspects of it. So talk to me about the different parts of your programming.
Well, my programs are called the MENT programs, and you can see them on my website, donjiagale.com. There are 4 different programs now. The one that I started early last year in January 2019 came from an abrupt release. I actually came to LA, was promoted with a position, and then a significant number of things happened. And so I needed to make some really big changes immediately in this new city, all these things going on. So as I filed for unemployment, I realized I didn't really want to be on unemployment. I didn't really want to depend on that. And to be quite honest, the unemployment, what it was paying was not even, I won't even say the numbers, but it wasn't even near what my rent was. Like, it was not going to serve me or my family in any way. So I actually prayed and meditated and said, what am I meant to do? What am I meant to do? What am I here to do? Why am I here? And I started to really focus on that. And unemployment with an MEANT came to me. And really now I empower people who are abruptly unemployed, on unemployment, to really discover what they're meant to do. So that's one of my flagship programs is unemployment. People contact me, they get in the program, and we really get to the truth about discovering what's meant, not just going out and getting another job to get money. When you do that, you put yourself in a situation in a terrible cycle We talk about getting strategic, about earning the money that you deserve, getting employed if you choose to be employed, or starting a business or becoming an entrepreneur, but really get to the core of what you need to do and what's meant for you. And when you discover what's meant, the money follows. A second program emerged from that because I was talking with people all over and online, and when I would go to the bank, the few times I've actually been outside in the recent months, and they hate their job. I started to talk to more and more people like, I don't even want to go back to work. I hate going there. I'm happy at home. I don't even know why I'm working there. And so there's a program that I created called Meant for More. And that is for people who are actually working, who dislike their job or have been there too long and know that there's something else calling them, something deep within calling them. And my Discover What Is Meant program, that is my huge flagship program. We have a visionary that I work with. We have a mediator that I work with that talks between families or spouses and works on an emotional level. I have a workforce consultant there. And this program, I could talk more about that, but it's really deep. This one is where we really get to a place where you're really loving what you do, you envision and create and actually manifest it, not just put it on paper. We do actionary steps that actually get you to where you're meant to be within the program, not after, while you're doing it. So that's delivering a lot of right now results, healing a lot of souls, a lot of pain, a lot of grief from people losing their job, and all of those things. And the fourth one, which is really close to my heart, we now added diversity training to it, and it's called Discover Me. And this one is for teens and young adults moving into college, and they're not quite sure what they'd like their major to be. Maybe it's something their mom or dad told them they needed to do, or they're just unsure because of the times and they don't know. So we help them discover what they're meant to do as far as taking a major in courses in college. And then if you're going into the workforce, you don't have to go to work at McDonald's. You don't have to get a job in a restaurant. We talk to you about what you can really do strategically and intentionally to move into the workforce.
Everything that you've told me, what I connect to the most is, as you talked about earlier, is the healing piece, because I can speak to my own experience when I've had layoffs or firings. And most, like you said, most programs that are out there, not to knock anything that's out there, they don't speak to that. They just speak to the on paper, get another job. And so when you and I first talked, that's what resonated with me, because there is that piece of pain and trauma that you have to go through when you lose a job. You're losing coworkers, you're losing that ritual, and that, you're losing all of your schedule, and you have to work through that to shift into a better space to be ready for the next journey, right?
Absolutely. And that's the number one thing we talk about from the very beginning, is that people, the first thing they think about is money, and I love that you just brought up being fired. Okay, let's be real. There's too many people out there who got fired, who won't talk about it. Obviously you're not putting that on your resume. Obviously you're not talking about that in an interview, but being fired for me, changed my life, because I started to really see how other people saw my value. I wasn't fired for valued reasons. I wasn't fired for not showing up to work, not performing. I was fired for other reasons. And it was painful to me, right? And when I was laid off because the company didn't have money to pay, one time I got like 1 week of severance, like, hey, thank you for being here and helping build our company up to all that it is. And I was in a director role, but thanks, bye, here's 1 week's check. Oh my gosh, like what am I doing? Now, I have to pause here, Jessica, because multiple streams of income, as we all should learn or have learned, is imperative and is more important than ever. However, in my past journey, I wasn't doing that. I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't have a second business or a second job or multiple streams of income. And now I since have learned and implemented those in my life for times such as this. But that pain point, like you said, missing your friends every day, going into work, pouring your, your heart and your soul into that job, that grief part clouds your vision into really getting to what you're meant to do. And the money part, like I have to take care of my family, I have to do this, I have to pay rent, I have to pay mortgage, I have to pay bills, clouds you from really getting centered. And most people, I would say 80% of the people, jump into something that they're not meant to do and end up in the same cycle for 5, 10, and 20 years.
Yes. So can you, I know it's an extensive process, but can you explain to listeners just a bit about how you even begin the process with them when you're diving into, that self inner reflection and trying to figure out what's next? How does that process look?
Well, first of all, there's 2 areas and 2 points that I work with. On the level of those who are contacting me and reaching me for my unemployment with the MEANT program, the first thing that they would do is go to my site, and there's a little questionnaire. They just ask a few questions. This helps me understand, why you left your job, what you're looking for, how immediately you need to look for work, like what your scenario is in 3 or 4 questions. Once they click that, then they actually it moves them right into scheduling time to talk with me, and then scheduling time, actually paying for the program and working with me. It's really easy. If we would take a couple steps back, it is to realize that jumping back into work without a plan, without prayer, without strategic intention is no good. So my program starts there. And then some of the first things that I ask without giving the entire program away is, have you done everything that you can right now? So a lot of people are dialing into unemployment right now. Let's talk specifically around the last 3 months, not being able to get into unemployment, not understanding how to file for unemployment, whether you're doing it for, as I understand, PUA for small businesses, or you're doing it independently. I've worked with people through that. It's not that easy to discover. They're both in the same area. At least I'm speaking for Los Angeles. They're in the same area. So it was hard for people to understand what that looked like. So if you can file for unemployment, making sure that they get through that process, and then talking to them about not just going into the same area. It's time to level up. So let's say that you were a restaurant server. Level up at a new restaurant, a better restaurant. Let's take it to the next level. A lot of people are in the same, I was making $20 an hour and I need a $20 an hour job at the minimum. What I do is talk with them about expanding their mind, expanding the opportunities, because they are there. Looking and finding work remotely. My employment specialist talks to them about how to tap into their resume, how to find remote work, and how to be strategic in their search. So I hand it off to her, and she works in that area. And by 3 sessions in the program, they have a plan, they have everything that they could possibly do in place, and they can take further action. On my flagship program, it's a much bigger process. You also do the same thing. You go to donjiagale.com, you go to Discover What Is Meant, and there are about 10 questions there. This helps me understand a lot, excuse me, I don't know what that is, a lot more about what you're doing, what you intend to do. Do you want to build a business? Do you want to move out of your former area of work into a different area of work? So that questionnaire right there does the same thing, tells me a lot about you. I have a gift in just feeling and understanding and knowing people. Switches you over to a 1-hour, no fee, no pay consultation with me. And a lot of times people Discover What Is Meant, what's going on with them within that call, within that 1 hour. And it's at no cost. And it's my pleasure to do that, because you have to find what's going on with you, what's stopping you, what's blocking you, what do you need to heal, what do you need to change. So we talk about that in the hour. And if I can help you, I will tell you. If I cannot help you, I'll tell you. And we take it from there.
Well, I love the fact that you offer that at no cost. So for folks who are struggling and financially, they can at least tap into that as a first step.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When you're talking about going through that process, what's the final step to exiting out?
Ooh, this is the great part. The final step to exiting out is where I feel the most fulfilled, because this was me. This was my ass at one point in time. This was my heart. This was my pain. This was my family. This was my income. And my story from living and working in Colorado to making the big faith jump and coming to LA and suddenly without any income at all means I have lived this. I have done this. I have experienced this. I have cried through this over the last 15 to 20 years. So almost any circumstance that people come to me with, the solution is in working with me. Now, you find other solutions as you continue the program. Anyone who's in either of my programs or all 4 can stay connected to my program infinitely. So we have a live call on Wednesdays, and it's not like we just drop you off and you're done. You can tap in, you can listen to what other people's stories and what they've overcome. You can get the Wednesday training still infinitely. So it's not like, hey, thanks for joining, thanks for paying, hope you're going to be good out there. That's not what we're about. And that's why I also work with corporations and businesses where we are an exit plan for them, because people need assistance. So what they get is the career counselor helps them work through their resume if that's what they like to do. They get entrepreneurship training, how to build a business, how to start an LLC, basic things, not an entire full training. I have people I can outsource them for that, but get started with building their business online, to start sending messaging out for people to talk with them and work with them, how to build a course that they would like to. I do not do the entire course, but I get you started, and I refer you to partners who can help you build true, dope online courses that really get your messaging and what you want to create or write or do out. I could really talk about this for like the next 2 hours, Jessica, because it depends specifically on the person. This is not a step 1, 2, 3, 4, thank you. If you follow these steps, then you will either fail or become victorious. This is specifically meant to the individual, what they're going through and what they truly desire to do and what they are meant to do and created for. So there are a plethora of solutions, ideas, and manifestation that come through this towards the end of each and every program.
Wow. I mean, it's phenomenal. That's what all I can say. It's phenomenal. And what I hear you when I hear you speak, it's almost like, to me, you become a family within all of the program. Because like you said, you're there, not just to say, oh, here's the solution, see you later, but you can tap in at any time.
Yeah.
So that, to me, is almost like that becomes your new professional family.
Yes, and I get kind of emotional even talking about it still. I'm gonna have to really amp up for this for when I'm doing more interviews, because it still hits me. I have chills right now. And you're such a great interview. I love talking with you just when we talk on the phone and all of that. How we reconnected is amazing. But you hit something that is so, so, so relevant. Sometimes, most times, too often, people do not have anyone to talk to. Okay, so we're already in some quarantine phases, especially right now. There's already so many things for spouses and partners to talk about and do and take on and change and adjust and modify. And you're in the house a lot more than ever. Okay, this has been a wonderful thing for some people, but it's been not good for other people. Let's be really real. Everybody's family isn't the perfect family. Everybody's relationship isn't the perfect relationship. So what I've discovered and what was going on with me at the time when I've experienced this over the years, I didn't have anyone to talk to. I just needed someone that had leveled up and accomplished something and done something and felt how I felt and needed what I needed. I needed to talk with them. And that was the biggest portion of it. And so I didn't have that. So, I went into prayer, meditation, and I learned and discovered, and we encourage this, whatever your faith and your belief is to really look within. Nothing I will tell you is new. It's already there. It's already within. And I help you discover and bring that out into manifestation and the wealth and the money and the happiness and the balance that you need. But I get to talk with you and you can vent to me. And my programs are HIPAA compliant. I am a HIPAA compliance officer. So all my programs, everything that you say within the program, whether it's about an illness, mental illness, or frustration, or someone in your family, is all protected under our privacy program. HIPAA certified and my own privacy program. So we're not sharing this with anyone and legally bound not to. And you can really come to a place where you can be truthful with yourself and heal and really talk and share freely. And that can save someone's life and career.
Yes. Well, and two things I want to mention. So I did put your website in the comments. So for those of you watching, if you want to go to Donjia's website and check out all the information, it's right there. I also want to speak to the fact that we've had these private conversations about how it's important for entrepreneurs to really tap into their experiences to make their business successful, which is, to me, everything you're saying. Like you said, I've been through this, I've been fired, I've went through the traumas. And I think that's key for anyone out there that's listening that may say, maybe right now they don't need your programs. But I feel like one takeaway is that if you're looking and searching for building a new business, what is something that you've experienced that you can share and help others solve?
Yes. So you're right. Some people say, I can't afford your program without even knowing how much it costs. And I've gone through a lot of coaching and training, and we talk about money and mindset and all of those good things. So if you don't think you need my program, it's likely that you do. Let me just say that. And we discover a lot of things in that phone call. Again, never selling, but just yet sharing. To answer your question, Jessica, what can they do right now? One, take care of you. I ask one specific question, and I can't believe I'm going to give you this, but I am. It's a huge question, and it is a pivotal awakening for so many people. So, anybody who's watching right now, ask yourself this: who are you responsible for? I want you to just, off the top of your head, write down when we get off this or later, or even right now, write down who are you responsible for. Immediately, when I talk to people, I'm responsible for my sister. I'm responsible for my mom. I'm responsible for my husband, my family, my children. I'm responsible for my work that I do. I'm responsible to my boss. What are we missing here? You did not say that you were responsible for yourself. It's the biggest point that we work on. I won't say no one, rarely do people say, I'm responsible for me. I'm responsible for my happiness. I'm responsible for my career. I'm responsible for my healing. I'm responsible for my purpose. I'm responsible for what I'm meant to do. No, it's waking up in the morning and writing down and answering they're responsible for everyone else. So that's the very first thing, is to answer that question for yourself. And if you didn't immediately think I am responsible for me, let's begin working from there and pouring into yourself, making sure if you are fired or unemployed, getting out unemployment, looking online, learning how to create a course, looking strategically for income higher than you're earning right now. Okay, they say don't dress for the job that you have, dress for the job that you like. Go ahead and apply and strategically get assistance to apply for those jobs and those roles and those positions that you actually desire to work in. If you have to start at a lower level, it's still in the arena. The how will flow to you, the opportunities will flow to you, money will flow to you when you put yourself in an arena that you like and love versus just getting a job to earn a paycheck. If you get a job to survive, that's all you will do is survive. That's it. You get a job or a role that you actually really love, even if it's at a lower level, the money will follow you, opportunities will follow you, perhaps entrepreneurship will follow you. So getting into a place where you're really writing down, and we go through this through the program, where you research yourself. And so what you're really meant to do really starts to come out. It's not like magic, but it kind of is. It's like real talk. So those are the two things I would say, is be strategic, be intentional, learn to take care of you first, honoring and respecting yourself, because when you're good, everyone else will be, and really putting your search and direction and connecting with people who are in your area of work that you really love. So your professional and your personal life have balance, and then that opens up doors for everyone.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And if I could add a third, just because I'm hearing you say it, is mindset. It's all shifting the mindset. Yeah. Once
Yeah.
you shift your mind and your heart, it opens up everything. Opens up
Yeah.
everything. I'm going to shift gears a little bit because I know we're close, sadly, to running out of time. But before we go, I intentionally wanted to spend the bulk of our segment talking about all your programs, because they are truly, truly impactful. And I think they, especially during this time, like you said, of COVID and the racial issues that we're facing and all of these things, I'm guessing there's, like you said, so many people out there could utilize these programs that you bring to the community. And what I love is you can do them anywhere, doesn't matter where you're at. So that being said, though, you and I have another business in common, and that's how we connected as well, because we are both in the branding arena and both branding specialists and advisors. And I want you to speak to a little bit about that, because that's my wheelhouse. I know we chatted away when we were talking, on the phone a while back. And so share with us about the branding aspect of your business.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Yeah, we connected. I'm not a big phone talker, talking on the phone for hours, and all of that. And I'm doing better at reaching out to people on Facebook. And we connected over Facebook. We reconnected on Facebook. And I was like, there's something about her. Like I need to meet her. So anyway, we connected on Facebook. We had this dynamic conversation. And I knew that you were in branding. We do so many, like you said, of the things that are alike. And so that's all honestly a huge part of my work. I'm a brand consultant. I assist brands in enhancing and connecting to their target audiences and making them realize really they are their brand. One of the biggest issues when clients come to me and people come to me is that they think that it's their business and their product and their service and it's themselves. And that's not true. You are your brand. So what you do in your business, the activity in your business is one thing. What you do in your personal life is another. They're two different things. Yet simultaneously, the derivative of all of that comes from the soul, comes from what you're meant to do. So brand consulting rolls into these programs because when they get to some of the ends of the programs, Discover What Is Meant, we help you with branding. Now you've discovered what you're meant to do. Now we help you focus on your target market. Now we assist you in getting an online presence. I have a social media expert who comes on and helps you with Facebook, helps you with Instagram, helps you get an online presence. Maybe you need a landing page. People think that they need an entire website. At times, you just need a presence online, somewhere where people can see and where you become real virtually, especially throughout these times. So brand consulting is my favorite. That rolled into me doing entertainment management here. I had a client who was I was consulting for a year. She moved out to LA in entertainment and I ended up being her manager. I had to really think about that one because that's a lot of different work. The reason why I bring that up is because when you are creating your brand, as you know, Jessica, it is really getting in alignment with what your messaging is, who you are, and what the end result and the outcome is for the client, and making that look and feel beautiful, wonderful, and on purpose. So that's what I do in branding, and that's how it all works together with the consulting that I do with my programs, because we speak to that. And when you walk out the door, when you wake up, you are your brand 100% every day, and you're here to shine and do what's meant. So that branding comes in through everything, and it's really one of my favorite parts of my work.
Yes, yes, and yes. Yeah, we could go on forever and ever and ever. So here's what I want to I want the audience to have your contact info. I did put your website in the comments. So how's best to get a hold of you?
Yes, so you can get a hold of me at my website, DonjiaGale.com. My contact information is there. I'm available. You can click through those questions and get directly to my calendar. It's not tough. It drops you right into the calendar. Click a time to work with me and talk with me. I'm here. I'm available. This is my heart's work and purpose. This is what I'm meant to be doing.
And there it is. There it is.
Yes.
Well, so if anyone is watching,
should have dropped the mic.
I know, that's all. I'm like, where do I go? I can't say anything after that.
No, but it's easy. All the information is on my website at DonjiaGale.com, and we can have the phone conference call. We can do Zoom or whatever. It is so easy to connect with me, and I'm here and I'm available and I'm here for this. Yeah.
And I can attest to that because like Donjia said, when we connected on Facebook, she responded right away and it just went off from there. We were interacting from that point on. So definitely. Well, gosh, I'm so sad that we can't continue our conversation.
No, we can do a whole coaching session on branding. We can talk about life. We can talk about oppression at work in the workforce. Oh. We can talk about a lot of stuff because I want to bring something up before we go, Jessica, if you don't mind.
Yes, please do.
Okay, I loved your show last week. Okay, here's why. The people on your show last week were talking about so many things that I have experienced with oppression, with challenge, discrimination in the workplace, being a woman, a Black woman in America. That was part of my journey. That was part of this MENT programming. And your show last week, the 3 individuals that you had on, if you're watching, hello, great job at illustrating and talking about the truth of what happens in the workplace and the workforce for Black women and men in America. And it's huge. And that is a large part of my journey, what I was experiencing, why I was fired, why a lot of the things that were happening to me made me realize more of what I'm meant to do. And I just wanted to say, great show. We should talk a little bit more about that. Even personally, or even on another, another platform, because it's huge and it's time for us to overcome that and understand the actions and our responsibility in that, not just what happened to us, but our responsibility in that and what we can do and move on and forward from those type situations.
I couldn't agree more. So, first, thank you. Secondly, I would love to have you back and we can just have that conversation. Again, I wanted to honor the time to definitely speak to your programs, the bulk of the time, but I would love for you to come back and maybe we can have a dialogue on.
Yeah, that would be great. Really, really great and very essential and important right now.
Yes, yes. Well, all that being said, we appreciate you tuning in today, and I just hope during these turbulent times, I think all of us can be part of the solution. So I want to leave us with that everybody can be part of the solution and each of us can do one little thing that impacts everybody as a whole. But that tiny little thing, whatever you choose to do, we talked about it last week, but whether it's getting involved with your local government, talking to friends about racial issues, injustice, whatever that is to you, just I encourage you to try one little thing because if we all do that one little thing, it has that ripple effect. It really, really, really does. It's not just a cliche. And there is power in numbers. Power in numbers. So please don't forget that. I hope that everyone is staying safe and well. And until next time, be inspired. Join us next week for Takeover Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Thank you, Donya.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jessica. Talk soon.
Talk soon.